What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning back into the channel. And on today's episode, we are going to be rebuilding this carburetor out of a John Deere snowblower that has a Tecumseh engine in it. So this is actually my friend Austin's snowblower, and he's trying to get it running. So he took the carburetor off and it's all full of rust. So I did not disassemble this, he disassembled it, and we seen how bad it was, so he gave it to me to try to clean it up for him. And so I told him I'd do it for free. He just buys the rebuild kit for it because it does need a new needle and seat. The needle actually just rusted away and broke off, so it does definitely need a whole new rebuild kit, and the gasket's shot. So I told him I'd rebuild it for free. Just he gives me the rebuild kit and I put it together for him. So I did not tear it apart. So anyway, I soaked into some diesel fuel just because it was just so rusted, and that actually helped a lot. Like right down in the fuel, when you put the fuel line on, that was all rusted, and then right here where you hook up the primer line, that was really rusted. I just took a little wire wheel to it and it helped a lot. And I just blew all the passages out with an air blow gun, and they seem to be all clear now. The fuel one was clogged solid, and so was the primer one, so it was bad. But anyway, I'm gonna clean up the mount that goes onto here, and then we're gonna prime that and paint it. And so we're just gonna make this carburetor pretty much hopefully like new, and hopefully he can get his snowblower going again. So I got it all primed up. The primer's all dry. I'm just going to be spraying this just black. It's like a gloss black kind of. It's actually high heat paint, and I don't think this is high heat. I don't think this gets that hot, this bracket, considering it mounts right to the carburetor. But it's the only like kind of gloss black I have. So I think that'll look good on here, and you probably don't even see this, but you know, it'll just protect it and make it so it doesn't rust again. All right, guys. So I'm going to remove the emulsion tube here. Just getting in there and pushing down, so now I got to pull it out from here. And the reason I'm doing this is because it's just the plastic was just not in the greatest condition, and it's like $1 for a new one, so I might as well put it in, because once you put a new emulsion tube in and new needle and seat and all new gaskets, it'll pretty much be a brand new carburetor. So let's get this one out. Alright, guys, so we got the emulsion tube out here. And you can see it's not in the greatest of condition, and the O-rings, this one is broken. You can see right there. This one is still good, but it's on its way out. It's hard. They're both hard as a rock. So anyway, pretty much as far as we can go. So now we just have to clean it up and wait on that rebuild kit to get here. Alright, guys, so now what we're going to do is, you can see it's all dirty and all that stuff. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to take a wire wheel and we're just going to clean this up and make this look hopefully like new. So let's get to it. Alright, guys, so I got it all pretty much cleaned up. I'm still going to just do a little bit more there, but look at that, that looks almost like new, I'd say. You know, just a little bit more clean and it'll be good. I still got to take the thing for the choke off right here, choke butterfly off, just because you can see that's pretty nasty in there. So, and I'll clean that up. But I got the outside pretty well cleaned. The inside still needs a little bit of work, but I usually do the outside before the inside, just in case, you know, the dirt from the outside gets on the inside. Then I can clean it out and just wipe the whole outside down. So now we just gotta wait on our rebuild kit, which I'm going to go order right now. So this carburetor is coming along, and you know, should pretty much by the time we're done be a brand new carburetor. It should look like one and hopefully perform like one, but still be the original one. So let's go check on our painted piece. Alright, guys, so you know, we left off and we cleaned the outside of the carburetor up and painted this mounting bracket here. So we got the carburetor outside looking really nice, as you can tell. It pretty much looks new, but you know, what good is a new looking carburetor on the outside if it doesn't look new on the inside? So we're gonna have to clean this up. Just get all that like old varnish off. Shouldn't be too hard. I already started a little bit, but as you can tell, there's still some gunk in there, so we're gonna have to get that cleaned out. Should not be too hard, but as you guys know, I needed a rebuild kit for this but anyway, after a bunch of looking, I actually started to look for an emulsion tube, and I actually came up with this kit on eBay. And this is a genuine Tecumseh, so this stuff is the genuine parts, and it was like $15, which is a little bit more than that eBay rebuild or the Amazon rebuild kit, but this one is genuine Tecumseh, so it is guaranteed to fit, most likely here, and came with a new emulsion tube and everything you need. So everything I needed. So this is what we're going to be using. We're going to be using genuine Tecumseh parts for this. So that's going to work good, and we just need to get to clean this inside up, because you might have new parts, but if your passageways aren't clear, it's pretty much pointless to have new parts in there. So let's get to it. I'll tell you one thing, it's pretty dirty right there on that side. I got this side clean. This is the throttle butterfly. So I just took the choke one out, and yeah, it's pretty dirty, so let's get to clean that thing up. Things I pretty much always do when I'm cleaning a carburetor is just blow it out with some compressed air from your air compressor. You're going to air that thing pretty high, and you can see there, thing's got some power behind it, so you're going to have to hold on to the carburetor. So what I just like to do is just go through all the passageways. That'll get any loose dirt out, and I honestly think this stuff, actually compressed air, will do more work than carb cleaner. So I think compressed air, I always do it to start with it, get any loose junk out of there, and I go through carb cleaner, and I go through some compressed air that maybe the carb cleaner maybe broke free or something, and I go with compressed air, and that gets everything cleaned up, and then you reassemble. So gonna blow this thing out. What you're gonna do, what you want to look for though, is when you're blowing through all the passageways, you want to figure out, number one, if you already know where it comes out, or you want to figure out where it's supposed to exit. Like you blow it through here, through the fuel line inlet there, you're supposed to put your finger there, because that's where the fuel would come out for the needle and seat. And you just want to make sure you're feeling your air, a good strong stream of air come out of there, just to make sure that passageway isn't blocked or anything like that. You want to make sure that it's going through the passage, and you don't have something stuck in it. So this thing is pretty much ready to be reassembled. What you want to do is you want to get your emulsion tube and take your two O-rings and put it back on where they came off of, so that would be on top and bottom. And all you do is you put it in from the bottom, make sure you have that side coming up and the point sticking out, and you just slide it in. So it's easy as that, and once you get it in, make sure you have your O-ring down here seated, because that will come off. So make sure you have it on right, and you should be good. Then what you want to do is you want to install your needle and seat. You can see when you get this, there's two different sides. You can see there's a slight rib on this side, but you'll be able to tell when you get it. And this side is just completely smooth. So you want the smooth side facing up, and you want to go the rib side going down into the carb. And then when you figure that out, then you just want to put a little bit of oil on there, and then you can slide it in. So get some oil on there, and then we'll push it in. Once you slide your seat in, you can see I got mine slid in, smooth side up. I just like to use a punch, just one that fits in the hole and not too small, that goes through the needle and seat, just grabs the needle and seat. You can push it in and work your way in, and then you'll feel when it stops, and that's when you're seated there, and then you're ready for your needle. So, but before you put the needle in, you kind of have to have the float. So I'm gonna go get the float, and then we can put it together. Alright, so then what you want to do is you want to get your little cover on here for the primer. I just took this off because this one, as you can see, this is all rusted, and it was all completely clogged up, so I had to take this off, or else that would never be clean. So I took that off. A lot of guys say not to take it off, and you really shouldn't if you don't really have to, because it is kind of a pain to get back on. And but if you absolutely have to, you can take it off, and then to get it back on, you just need to get a punch, and you can hammer it back down and get it in. And I just take like a little pick and just kind of pry up on it really light, just to make sure it's not going to fall out. So you don't want that falling out just because your carburetor won't end up working right. So now let's put our float and needle and seat in. So let's get to it. As you know, our kit came with a new needle and a little pin here, and as you can see, this little pin clips onto that, and it goes like this, and then this part, the right top part, that hangs on to this little tab right there on the float. And this is actually a brass float. Some of them have plastic. And before you put your floats in, I like to just get like a cup of water or fuel, or just some sort of liquid, and you put it in there and just make sure it floats, and then push it down and hold it down for a little bit, and just make sure there's no holes in it or anything, because if you have a hole in your float, it'll probably flood your engine up, because it'll just have the needle stuck open. So get this hung on there, and then you just want to put your little pin right through there, and it just presses in by hand. So you get it in, everything just kind of slips into place down in there. You can see my screw and my float on it, and you just want to make sure it moves freely. The float will only go up to here because it'll hit the bowl, or down to here I should say, because the carburetor sits like that, and it'll sit like that and hit the bottom of the bowl, and once fuel comes up, it'll go like that and close it. So down, that opens it up and lets fuel come in, and then closes it once it gets up, and seals that off. So to check your float height, you just use an 11/64, just anything round, or a drill bit. You could even use a micrometer, but it's much easier because you have this raised edge here, and so all you want to do is take your 11/64 and make sure you can just kind of just glide it in a little bit. You don't want it too tall there, like directly across from the part where the float hangs on. You don't want it too tall, because that means your float's too high, but you don't want it too low. This one was actually a little bit low, so I had to adjust it. So now it is adjusted properly. It's about even, and that's how you want it to look right there. So now we can put our gaskets, our bowl gasket on, and our bowl back on, and this carburetor is about done. Then you're just gonna get your gasket right around that raised edge there, and I just like to take some of that little bit of oil you had from putting your needle and seat in, just rub it on the gasket. It just helps it seal a little bit. It's kind of like an oil filter gasket. So then we're gonna take our bowl, which I cleaned up inside and all that, and slip it on. Gonna make sure we get it in the right location. So gonna make sure we get it on right, and get you back. So I forgot one thing I forgot which way to tell you guys which way it went on. So you can see we got the Tecumseh products writing there, and you can see this is lower than the rest of it. You want this part to go right over top of where the hinge pin is for the float. So, and that'll make it so your float sets right. So let's put this on, and then we can put our little nut in the middle on. So we got our piece here, and we got our brand new gasket on it, and it's just as simple as just putting it in and tightening it up. So I forgot about one thing, major thing, and that's our butterfly. So we gotta get that in, because she's gonna run wide open without him. So we gotta get that in, guys. So I got everything all cleaned up. How nice that looks. It looks a whole lot better than when we started. I got the throttle butterfly on, as you can see. Got the choke on, and this has a couple presets on it using this spring. So all I got to do now is put our bracket on, and that's going to be done. We got the bracket on, and that's going to do it for this video. The carburetor is 100% nice and clean and done, and assuming this carburetor is his only issue on his snowblower, it should run, because this carburetor is ready to go. So you can see our brand new emulsion tube down in there, all new gaskets on it. So we have our bracket that we painted, cleaned all the linkages up, and carburetor looks pretty good. I'm gonna say it doesn't look as good as new would, but it looks real good for what it was. So he's ready to get it back and put on his snowblower, and we'll see if it runs.